Greetings and welcome back everyone. If you like these videos, be sure to share them with your friends to help the channel grow. I do appreciate it. I'm CryptoSnake, back in to bring you some Bitcoin analysis. So Bitcoin gave us this beautiful green candle that we wrote up in the VIP for savage profits, straight up to the daily cloud, before the price was finally rejected. At the moment, Bitcoin is in a bit of a stalemate, and there are three possibilities that I want to lay out in this video. The first formation, which is the formation that I've been laying out for weeks, is the inverse head and shoulders pattern, which we've been following very well. This pattern results in a break of the neckline. This would break the 4200 level and a potential skyrocket up to the low 5000s. This formation is still in play and has not been negated even with the test of the daily cloud system being rejected. However, there are also some concerning bearish factors that I will get into shortly, but first I want to cover the second pattern forming inside of our inverse head and shoulders pattern. And that pattern is a second, smaller inverse head and shoulders pattern forming on the right shoulder of the larger pattern. This smaller inverse head and shoulders pattern may be the catalyst to actually break us up through the upper neckline of the larger formation. Now this formation would hold true if it came down to test the 3800 before bouncing back up. Another possibility would be to hold support on the existing neckline somewhere around the 3950 and then bouncing. Currently the price is riding very close to the Senkou span B, narrowly finding some support on it and descending at the same time, which does fit with this smaller formation. The fact that the price managed to break into the daily cloud at all is overall bullish though. On the inverse, however, breaking into the daily cloud doesn't mean we can't break back out of the daily cloud if the bullish support does not hold. In order for either of these two patterns to play out, the price must consolidate, and what I'm looking for on that would be a reset of the oversold to overbought conditions. I would like to see the Williams %R break down a little bit lower down on the daily for a possible spike breakthrough. At its current level, this high up, if we go to test the 4200 level, we're more than likely, around 80% likely, to break right back down. This rejection would result in a complete price tumble. It really depends though if the FOMO hits in. If we hit 4200 and break through it though, the FOMO will start rolling in. The public will start recognizing Bitcoin and start panicking to get in quickly. As this pattern has started to spread all throughout the market, everyone is aware of this pattern now. So everyone is watching this very significant neckline level. Now, if this price does not consolidate and we do end up testing that 4200 support or start breaking down from here, we may very well see a rejection of both of these patterns and further dumping back to previous support around 3200. Currently, my bearish concerns is that the copper curve has started to settle and kind of plateau. The Williams %R is well into the overbought territory. So you can see the previous breakdown trending around here. It doesn't mean that it can't consolidate and find some support from a bounce around 3800 to 3900. It just means for now, I would not be opening a long position just yet. And the RSI has dipped very slightly up into the overbought territory. Now, one of my major concerns right now is Bitcoin longs. After that spike, several longs did manage to take profit, so it did relieve a little bit of pressure off of the potential long squeeze that's been brewing. But daily longs are very close to the all-time high where we historically do break down, causing a massive price drop. Moving back to the 4 hour on the longs, we can see this small reprieve where the longs started to sell off, but it is starting to bounce and start climbing some more. If this long squeeze actuates quickly and we start having a liquidation run, that price will start cascading down very violently. Right now we have a little bit of room to grow on the daily RSI still, so we may have one more pump left in this overall climb, and I'll get into that in just a moment. Now what this pump would look like is this great looking bull formation forming on the daily. This can actually be seen just as well down on the 4 hour chart. Adjust these lines over and we take the initial candle growth and extrapolate it over, we can see that this would actually move up to test and possibly break through the neckline around 4200 to 4250. Now we are at the tipping point of this potential bull flag. If this bull flag is to actuate, it would have to be within the next couple of 4 hour candles. If we break down below the 4 hour Kijun-sen, it would negate this pattern. But this is definitely in favor of the bulls breaking up in this bull flag formation to test the 4200, 4250 level. Smashing that would break the neckline and may actually cause a lot more FOMO as well. So we may see a very bright future for Bitcoin in the coming days, or we may see a catastrophic collapse. This is definitely the boiling point. So before I get on with the rest of my technical analysis, if you'd like to join my free Telegram for insights on the market, including Bitcoin, altcoins, and a sneak peek of my personal entries and exits, join t.me/cryptosnakepit. Links directly to the chat and a link on how to install Telegram, which is a free chat program I use to communicate with my VIPs, in the description below. I've also launched my official Twitter, so follow me at CryptosnakeVIP to get regular updates. We've been absolutely on top of Bitcoin's movement in the VIP, pulling savage gains since this month began. I also give out hot altcoin swing positions every week to my VIPs. If you want information on how to get into the VIP group to be part of these trades, the information is also in the description below. I've also released a brand new unique feature for my VIP Elite, access to our automatic artificial intelligence bot, which automatically targets altcoins ready for a steady pump. And I'm always happy to answer questions. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me on Telegram at @officialcryptosnake. So one more reminder on top of this whole Bitcoin potential pump that may be looming is the Ethereum event that I have been mentioning for the past couple of days. Ethereum is having 3 hard forks, 2 of which would be considered more of an airdrop. If you are holding Ethereum on Binance or another exchange, you will receive 3 ETCV tokens per Ethereum that you hold on Binance on January 11th. And the second hard fork or airdrop would be the Ethereum Noah fork, which is January 12th, the next day, receiving ETN tokens at a ratio of 1-to-1. So for each Ethereum that you hold on Binance at that time of snapshot, you'll receive 1 ETN. These are basically free tokens. However, I do give out a warning. My strategy on these normally involves buying the hype, selling the news, riding that airdrop pump up while people jump onto Ethereum to ride it up. I jump off at the peak and I don't stay for those token swaps, as they're normally not worth the amount of money lost on the drop. Speaking of Ethereum, the 4-hour at the moment is looking healthy for a potential bounce. It has started to descend overall, but down on the 1% we are well into the oversold territory, so I would expect a small pickup in the price, possibly another test of 152, 153 or so, before being rejected back down. The daily is still well into the overbought territory. This is very, very concerning. Now, if the price was back down here around $80 or $100 and we were moving for these airdrops, I would be scooping up Ethereum like hot coins, getting ready for that pump. But as it has already gotten to the peak of this pump, I'm not sure how much more these airdrops will pump it. They do tend to be violent and people do tend to FOMO into them. So once this price starts breaking up again, people may start FOMOing in. I will be looking for a slightly better price on this. And VIPs will get my updated Ethereum position right after this video. As for Litecoin managed to FOMO up with Bitcoin almost perfectly to where I laid out in the previous video, around the 42 level, breaking through this heavy resistance at $40. If Bitcoin does bull flag back up, it's very likely to reach 43 or so again. From there, it really depends on where the FOMO goes with Bitcoin. If we continue up to the 5,200 level, this will also considerably rise, possibly up to the $52 or so. If, however, Bitcoin is rejected, this will see a cascading crash back downwards to at least 36 before finding some support on the daily Kijinsen. Now, if Bitcoin continues all the way down to 3,200, Litecoin would also very likely drop back down into the low 20s. This would be the historical support level. Now, if Bitcoin follows the inverse head and shoulders pattern and starts to consolidate before testing the neckline, Litecoin would very likely hit around the 32 level before bouncing. This would find support perfectly on the Tenkan-sen. Some quick news today: Coinbase suspends Ethereum Classic after blockchain history rewrites. What this basically means is that there was a 51% attack on Ethereum Classic. Essentially, there was a rewrite on the previous codes by a 51% attack, rewriting the entire transaction history and organizing a double spending attack, totaling of $460,000. So pretty much every action on Ethereum Classic on Coinbase has been shut down. If you were curious why Ethereum Classic went for such a savage dump today, it is because people are panicking from the 51% attack. Most of the market has been kind of on its own devices today as well. Altcoins have been seeing some green, some red. This is normally the case when Bitcoin's been side trending, and it has been side trending for the last 2 days or so. The Bitcoin market cap has been rising very steadily, which is good and healthy. It's sitting around 134 billion today, but it's still very, very far from that $200 billion drop that we saw before. So there's definitely a lot of money sitting on the sidelines waiting to jump into Bitcoin. So just to recap, I'm about 60% bullish on Bitcoin right now, 40% bearish, mostly for that long squeeze, which does appear to have dissipated a little bit. Overall, I think a test of the 4,200 level is still very possible. The formation to watch right now would be this bull flag. Now, if Bitcoin's price slowly starts descending and this bull flag is negated, it's not necessarily bearish either. The two price levels right now to watch is the 3,850 and the 3,800 level. If we see a respective bounce from them, that would conclude our inverse head and shoulders bounce on the smaller pattern and potentially the larger pattern extrapolated out, meaning we're very likely to move for a test of that neckline once again. Now, all of this will depend on where the indicators are sitting at the time and how much growth potential we have. That will determine whether or not we are going to actually break the inverse head and shoulders neckline. This pattern has around a 75% success rate. So normally if we come up to test this, there's still a 25% chance that we do break down. And even following this formation, if we break through the neckline, there is no guarantee that we're going to fly straight up through up to 5200. Normally what happens is it breaks up and then it breaks right back down to test the neckline. So don't panic if you do see this. Normal stop loss protocol for this would be below the right shoulder or just below the neckline. So if it comes back to test the neckline, it is likely to find support and start climbing from there. Now, no matter which way Bitcoin does go, my VIPs will get my updated strategy on that, and we will take advantage of the market no matter which way it swings. So that's it for today's technical analysis. If you do make any trades today, I wish you luck. Please join me in my free Telegram at t.me/cryptosnakepit, where I give up-to-the-minute updates on Bitcoin and my personal exits and entries for the private VIP group. Also included is our private VIP chat, where you can chat with many of our experienced savage traders, get personal technical analysis from me, and answer any questions you might have. This is Crypto Snake, signing off.